Excellent. Can I just firstly apologise for being so terribly late and to have kept you waiting?
Hello.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, thank you very much for coming.
I had real problems driving here. Oh, the traffic was a nightmare. I think there was some police accident or something up the road. So it's not normally my habit to turn up late to a meeting, so please accept my apologies.
No,
Apologies accepted.
Yes, accepted. It's a good thing you are here, and we also want to thank you for accepting our invitation again.
Okay.
Okay. Have you seen your payment reflected in your account?
I have, thank you very much. It went through 2 days after we last meet, so exactly when it was expected. So my finance director saw it. I think he even went out and had a few drinks. So you've made him very happy anyway. So
okay. We just came with a copy of the SWIFT in any case, but if you have it, it's perfect. So it's just to confirm.
Yes, well, I'll put that on the files, and then we've got
perfect. Yeah.
we've sort of completed the circle on that. So thank you.
Super. We are again sorry for the inconvenience, cost, and how the relationship might have been affected because of that.
You wouldn't imagine the stress and the difficulties that was causing us. It was really causing us a major problem, and we do need to make sure that something like that never happens again.
Going forward, we've put structures in place where we have a key account person in-house to look at the account and do a weekly reconciliation on your account. So be rest assured it's not going to happen.
Okay, and what's that person's name?
That is John.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get our finance team to give John a call and just introduce themselves.
What I would do, I would send an email with John in copy and then do the whole introduction so that both teams can meet. So going forward, this is the measure we put in place. But just in case you have any of these issues coming up, please don't hesitate to give me a call.
Okay, excellent. Hopefully you'll be more eager to talk to me than your predecessor, so hopefully that'll work better.
Not sorry, perfect.
Yes.
But before we move on, any points else that we want us to take care of? Any concern that before we come to discuss on the price issue?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to my technical team, as I said I would, and we had an interesting discussions about new product ideas and new ways of working. So there might be, obviously it will take a couple of years for that to come into place, but we might be able to do something to help streamline processes. That would, if that's of interest to you.
Okay.
Can you tell us more about this one?
Yes, it's what we've worked out. We're working with a number of other clients. You weren't included at the time because, well, for issues that I won't mention again. But but we're working with a number of clients. So finding a way where they can minimise the wastage on the boxes. So there's better storage facilities, so that they can really maximise the efficiency. So there's much less waste. As you know, the cost for the waste isn't that great. Okay. So we're working with them to make sure that our boxes stay intact for much longer.
Will this be transferred to us? How do we share the profits normally?
Yes, obviously there'll be efficiencies for you. We need to do a few changes at our end in terms of the way that we package it, or we need to talk to you about the van that you're currently using to collect them because the pallet size is changing. So we need to discuss those sort of issues. But it will bring savings to you in the long term because, as I say, it would have an impact on your wastage.
Can you say this is an implemented project with all the other customers you have?
Well, we hope to implement it. As I say, it's a 2-year project.
Okay.
It'll come in a couple of years' time, so obviously it won't impact on the 5.84% that we're currently that you'll be paying shortly. So it'll come in a couple of years' time. So hopefully that'll help you in the long term.
Okay. So which drives us to the point about the 5.8.
As you'll see, the invoice that we sent recently, we haven't yet included it. So
yeah, we noticed
the clock's ticking, as it were. So the next one probably will include the 5.84%.
Really, like we did tell you in the first meeting, this 5.8 really is. If you have noticed, okay, we have been sales has dropped, or demand for you requirement has dropped.
It has, yeah.
It has dropped. To be very honest with you, one of the reasons it has dropped is because on the market we are losing competitiveness. Okay, and you know the economic situation now. There's a lot of buying power going away.
Use
So
the credit crunch.
everything.
But you'll see from my letters that I've not tried, you know, the prices were set based on the volumes that you were predicted. You'll see from my cost ends that I haven't put the price back to where it should be, even though your volumes have reduced. So I think we're being quite fair already in terms of the volumes.
Let me just land. So all this, we are losing market share of the product, and I'm sure you are feeling it. We are feeling it because our volumes have reduced, and you are feeling it because your requirement is not consistent, and that is causing you some worry, I believe, that the requirement is not consistent. So on top of this, where we are losing profitability in the business, or losing market share, as it were, to implement a 5.8% is.
I mean, just to add to it, I would like to share the rolling forecast that we had.
Yeah.
You will notice that last year the volume were bigger, and this year it has dropped down. And as he was explaining, the price increase is part of it. We had one already 7 months ago, and today the salespeople are struggling selling the product in the street. And as per our last monthly review that we had together with the management, it was clear that if we are able to be competitive in the market, of course the volume will grow up.
Definitely.
By 10% on average.
So we really, I mean, it's like, okay, a virtual cycle. Like we are really struggling to get good prices.
But so how much do you sell the product for that the boxes are being used for? So how much is the actual product that you're selling?
We do not. Okay, to be honest, I do not have the selling units here.
Well, I think they market for around about $3 per item.
Okay.
And my boxes
I'll need to-
are $107 per thousand, so that's 10 cents on your $3 item. And I'm not even going to 11 cents. I'm going to
$3
10.5
per
cents.
That is very good logic. It's interesting to know, but as you know, everything is going up, and we are squeezed in terms of how we can go. What we are trying to do with some of our suppliers.
But it's a fraction of a cent.
It looks like a fraction. It looks like a fraction, Mr. Hassan. We understand that. So before you came up with the increment, actually, what we are trying to do with our other suppliers is to actually look for ways to reduce the cost. I mean, you tell us ways, you deal with the packaging material, you are the expert. Tell us ways to reduce the cost so that we can be competitive on the market. So it was actually when I was handed over this portfolio, that was my initial plan before this letter dropped in, actually. So, well, this letter is not altogether bad news. It gives me the opportunity to have a meeting and a discussion.
Well, one of the things you could do is we could remove the waterproof layer in the packaging. So if you find that you don't need it to be waterproof, it depends on what your distribution channel looks like. But if you no longer need the waterproof membrane in the box, that has an impact on the cost. And we could provide you a quote with providing non-waterproof boxes.
Averagely, what is the impact on the price for removing this waterproof? And in terms of the quality and specification, do we keep the same barrier?
It'll be exactly the same, except that if it gets wet, it'll deteriorate.
Okay.
So the product, depending on how you're displaying it and how you're storing it, as soon as the box gets wet, you run the risk of damaging the internal product.
Well,
that's a very good idea. We appreciate this a lot. What I would do, I would pass it around the business unit and get all the technical QA people involved. What I will need from you, however, is the impact of this removal of this barrier from the structure, the cost impact, so that when we are doing the analysis and the make a go or no go decision, we can know the cost impact. So I would appreciate if you can pass that around in our next meeting probably, or if you have it already, you can give me a fair idea of how much this impact is, 10%, 20%.
Well, I'll talk to Jeff again and see what's on the volumes that we've got here, what sort of price we might be able to do a non-waterproof.
Thanks, Jeff, join
packaging.
us. Is it possible for Jeff to join us?
It might be at the next meeting, actually. He's not available today, so I could have called him perhaps, but...
Okay, but we are talking about the waterproof. This is just the raw materials. Okay, can you tell us more about the labor and overheads? I assume that if we keep the level of volumes that we promised at the beginning of the deal, we will be able to stabilize also the overhead and labor cost, because you, in your letter, you mentioned that it's because the volume are dropping down that you are losing some efficiency and you have to charge us. This one also, we can look at it.
Well, we could always look at it. I mean, it's partly that, but it's also the fact that the regulations on how much we have to recycle to get our green, which I'm sure you're interested in, also means that we've had to put in a little bit more equipment to help with the recycling and staff to staff those. So some of it's that, but some of it's the fact that we've been forced to take on this extra staff and put this extra equipment in to improve our green credentials.
Going back to this proposal of recycling and improving the level of waste that we are having, and you are talking about some savings that we can get, it's not possible to find a way for you and us, I respect you, tell us, to share this savings in order for us not feeling this price increment, because actually I think you are selling some old recycled stuff that you are getting, and it's about, if I'm not wrong, 5 to 6% of the production, right?
Well, we do manage to sell our waste and there is a market for that. So that you've done your homework well. That's very true. But we do like, in principle, the idea of working together in partnership.
Yeah.
We've been working together for 8 years, and we would like to see that we'd be working together in another 8 years. So all those comments are well received.
Okay.
I can talk to Jeff again.
Okay.
And see, get him to drill down another layer on the labour and the overheads, just to see what, whether we have got it proportioned right for the clients that we've got.
Well, what do we expect then? Can you give us
a fair idea of what we expect from the feedback, so that we can also circulate it in our business?
Not to put any pressure on you unduly, but of course, if you have maybe a thumb rule, are we looking at a 30% reduction in price from implementing removing the waterproof barrier, and also looking at the waste? 30% reduction in price, 40%.
Well, obviously, those numbers are silly numbers, but in the real world, I can talk to Jeff. It would be interesting for us. We've sort of skirted round the long-term relationship that we might have. Is that something you might be able to put in writing in terms of maybe a 5-year contract or a 10-year contract, so that I can talk to Jeff and say, well, look, we've got, he can do his cash flow forecasts and make sure that we've got some continuity. Is that something that you might consider?
It is something which is on the table for discussion.
Excellent.
Definitely. We might consider it. We will look at what can be done in terms of time phase of the contract, but it all depends, of course, on how much we are going to make in terms of the price of the product, how much it's going to be costing us,
innovation, stuff like that.
Well, of course, but a 10-year contract in principle isn't something that you would necessarily, put to one side.
As a group, actually, we are limited to 1-year contracts. Of course, exceptionally, if the ideas are really great and the potential for saving and then renovation from your side is consistent and is always cost reducing for the benefit of the two parties, of course, we can look at, for our level, we can look at 3 years, depending on how good the ideas are, the cost reducing innovative renovation ideas are.
And mind you, we are growing. We are going to do an average of 10% this year in growth.
Okay. Yes.
And for us, what is key? You can see that from our rolling forecast. For us, what is key is if we want to commit ourselves to a long-term agreement with you over a year, if only you can do something about your price. If you can share a lot of R&D information, innovation and renovation, your R&D information, that's key for us. We will be looking at, say, maybe 30% slash.
Sorry, what number was that?
We're looking at a 30%.
30 or 13? Yeah. Both of which are quite funny.
Which you can, well, it hinges actually on.
Have you seen my cost breakdown?
We have seen it.
Well, let's see how we can share.
So I just won't pay my staff. I'm sure they'll come in and work for nothing.
No,
that'd be fine.
We want you to pay yourself. So just look at it and then come back to us with what.
Okay, so I'm liking this figure of the 75 million.
Yeah.
What might the next 2 years look like if we?
Really, it's in your hands, huh? Because if.
I don't think so. Look, it's 10 cents on one of your pockets. It's not going to make a big difference. A customer's not going to go and say, "Wow, that's half a cent cheaper. I'm going to buy 6 instead of 2." That's not going to happen.
You see, really,
on the it's in your hands, like I was saying. It depends on how we can keep this product on the market and make it competitive.
Yeah, I get all that.
Yeah.
Let's assume that we get past that and you get competitive, because you need to spend more time with your other suppliers, because you're spending far more with them than you're spending with me. But I'll let you do that. If you get it more competitive and you get your half a cent per pack difference from your other suppliers, because they've got bigger pockets than I have. Let's say you get that and you survive. What might year 2 and year 3 look like?
We can communicate it to you.
Yes, 75 million in next.
Then 10%.
Can I pick?
Oh, so it's a 10% compound for the next few years.
He's going to check something.
Now we take a pause.
Let me just make a call, if you don't mind,
Okay.
just to get you some accurate figures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Football was great last night, wasn't it?
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. I sat there for hours, grilled to my screen. Thinking,
Chelsea was terrible. Tottenham was hopeless on the night.
Tottenham was not helpless. But Drogba's just a dream. If we're anywhere, every team needs a Drogba in their team. Because he's just a genius. God knows why he's considering leaving Europe. I think the guy's an idiot.
Well,
It's all about interest, you know.
Mr. Hassan.
Greedy.
So I just placed a call to the business executive manager.
Okay.
Okay, so what they are currently in the process of doing is having a business plan for this SKU. Definitely there are projections for growth, although he has not given me specific numbers.
Yeah.
It's something we
I won't
can
hold you to it.
it's something we can confirm to you maybe in a month's time, since it's a whole business process.
But in a month's time.
In a
Yeah,
month's time.
basically we are insisting on the consistent growth of 10% every year.
Okay.
Consistent growth.
You need to give me something that I can play with. I can go back to
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah.
He's had his drink. He's quite happy that he's got his money, but he's a very cautious finance guy.
Yeah.
And he needs. We've got our staff. We're very close to our staff. Some of our staff we've had for 30 years, and we're a very paternal company. We want to look after them, and we need to make sure that the company is stable. So
we can tell you authoritatively we'll be doing between 15 to 20% of your business in the next 3 years. That's a key thing.
Say those figures
We
again.
should be doing between 15 to 20% of your business based on our rolling forecast. So let us.
So what's happened to the 10%?
On the 10% growth, per year, we do a 10% growth per year. So in the next 3 years, we should be doing about 15%.
So my proportion of your business is growing, is it?
It is growing. That's the news we have for you. The proportion is growing.
So we're now gone to 15 to 20% increase.
15% of your business generally.
Okay. All right. So we're back to the 10% per year growth.
Exactly.
Compound.
Exactly.
Okay.
So basically what he's
And you're not averse to a 3-year contract, so thank you for that.
What he's saying basically is that just like Anselm said, with all our other products, we averagely grow at 10% for all the other SKUs, and we expect this to be in the same line, although we wait for the confirmation from the business executive manager, so that we can actually confirm to you the...
And obviously this is all dependent on your half a cent increase in price.
Perfect.
Mr. Hassan, you get it.
You take me for a fool.
No, Mr. Hassan. No, Mr. Hassan.
Do you want me to explore the waterproof membrane, or is that something that's...
No, please do explore it and come back to us with serious figures. Like I said, we would take it seriously. Okay, I will already initiate discussions with our QA and technical people on this idea you're bringing on board. But to sell it to the business, of course, we need some figures to sell it with. Also, just going back to the cost breakdown, it's quite interesting, but
It is. You can see what a struggling time I've had.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
If you add all those figures up, I've got nothing to take home in profits.
Are there any other things? Maybe the big component on the fiber board. Is there any other thing you can look at there to see how we can reduce the cost impact? Is the major driver there? It constitutes 53% of the cost breakdown already.
You'll see. You look. I don't know if I've shared with you the cost of fiber board. It's just so.
Yeah. We have seen the
trend.
And if you put those numbers crunch them into your software, you'll see that those increases in price make a serious. That's the wrong piece of paper.
Okay.
A serious impact on the work that we're doing.
But
It's become so complicated. I've got to look at who it is. It's hiding behind.
Yeah.
It's just going up and up. Now, obviously, that's an internal document, but you can see. I'm now paying 2,371 per tonne. I was only paying 1,800 a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
It's just going through the roof. It's a real
What are the
struggle
key
for us.
cost drivers? What are the key drivers of this cost of the raw materials?
Well, it's partly this new environmentally friendly legislation. They have to buy their fibreboard from sustainable sources, which is more expensive than buying it and not replanting trees, obviously. So there's an element of that going in. We think we're probably at the end of that. I hope so, because it's just really causing us some difficulties. But as I think I've meant to mention before, price is not necessarily our primary target. What we need to make sure is that we can always supply you with the boxes, because we don't want to leave you with a situation where you've got product to sell and you can't sell because you haven't got the packaging.
Which we appreciate a lot. We appreciate ensuring supply.
But I can go away. I'll have a look. I'll talk to Jeff.
Okay.
We meet regularly anyway, and he's a nice guy, and see whether we can squeeze something for you.
From the fiber board, from the raw material.
Yes, from.
I think that's another has a lot to check with Jess. Unfortunately, he's not around, so maybe we'll give him time to go back and check with Jeff so that we can come and discuss.
Unless, of course, you have any other things you want to.
No, it would be nice to see more specific details on your 10% per year growth.
We'll work on
That's
that. We'll work on that definitely.
It would also be interested in, you mentioned a 3-year contract. I'd quite happily sign a confidentiality agreement if you're nervous about going longer. And not tell anyone if you can do a longer contract. So if we like the idea of 5 or 10 years, we'd be happy to pay money into R&D. So that would be very helpful to us.
Okay. But that all depend on the offer you bring to the table.
Okay, I've heard what you've said. I'll talk to Jeff. I'll see if he can make the meeting. But if he can't make the meeting, I'll have a chat to him and see what margins he's got to play with, if any.
Okay. Perfect.
But be careful. I warn you. We're very open. We've tried already to get you the best deal we possibly can. So a lot of effort has gone in. The letter wasn't just written up in half a day. It was a lot of thought went into that letter, which is why we've given you all those breakdowns, which is sort of commercially sensitive information, and we've done that because we're conscious that it's a difficult time.
Exactly. We also appreciate the effort you put in compiling all of it and all the supporting documents. It shows true openness from your part. That's why we also have been come and say that, look, I want a 50% discount. No, that's why we.
I think you could. I think you mentioned it. I nearly fell off my chair. I think you were talking 30. I think 30% was mentioned at one time.
So that's why we're also looking at ways of reducing the waste, optimizing the specification, looking at how to streamline the supply chain.
I like this language. It's something that we can work with.
Yeah, exactly. So that we can reduce even the cost instead of making an increase. Maybe have a reduction in the cost. It all depends on how closely we can work together to do this. So
we'll go off. We'll have a think.
Exactly. We hope that your discussion with Jeff would yield some fruitful results, which you see our product grow, hopefully back again.
Excellent. Well, you seem nice. I've enjoyed the meeting.
Options. Yes. We can also look at other options like consignment stocking, maybe in the future, where we could merge our demand plan, demand forecast. We can discuss.
But at the moment, the most important thing to you seems to be price. I think you're nuts. Well, I'll have a chat to Jeff. I can promise.
No. But I get a hint that there's more that we could be looking at apart from the price. Do you care to elaborate?
Well, maybe I'll go and have a think. There's things about delivery times and delivery slots and things and stock levels. We could get down into that route maybe at our next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to elaborate a little bit more?
Yes, and I like the idea of a long-term relationship. That's the thing that, of all the things you've said, that's the thing that's most interesting to me.
What other things are of interest to you that we haven't mentioned already?
Well, obviously, if you would allow me to increase my prices further and give me a better market, that would be very helpful.
I mean, we are like stopping you.
Here we're laughing at each other's jokes. This is good.
That will kill me and kill you.
Yeah. But I'll go away. I'll have some think. I'll put
That's
some
a
thinking time.
double-sided sword, a double-edged sword, if I should say.
Okay.
Anyway, so
well, thank you. 'Cause this meeting was a lot more positive than the last meeting we had. So thank you for that.
No,
you seem nice people.
We were just trying to get the grounds. We made some mistakes, but we did pick a lot of learnings from it.
Well, thank you. I'm afraid I've got another meeting to go to.
If you don't mind, maybe can I summarize? Or you can summarize what we have discussed.
Well, I think we've summarised a number of times.
Okay.
You know, we're looking at a longer-term contract. I'm going to have a chat to Jeff. I'll get him to give me some figures on removing the waterproof membrane.
Yeah.
You're going to go away and come back to me and tell me just how much your business is going to grow over the next few years. And then we can start seeing how we put a contract together that keeps us both happy.
Okay.
Good.
And then you also come up with some...
I'll talk to Jeff.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much.
Okay,
Thanks, and tell Jeff that he has the key account now for all payments and that the delay will not happen anymore. All right?
Indeed. Yes, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Mr. Hudson. We've been out waiting for you.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry. I'm running late. I had a very exciting meeting.
Before.
You have to stop this.
How are you?
Good.